Hello and welcome back to the archipelago. In June 25, the summer was found only in calendars. Even after midsummer, the temperatures were stuck at 15. It was time to start looking for real summer. Did I find it? First stop at Kuuskari, a really peaceful anchorage, where I'm often all alone. Only a 20-knot cold breeze from the northwest that blows all night could make the spot uncomfortable. Yes, you guessed it. Let's have a brief look at Kuuskari a year ago. Sorry, the gimbal ate something bad. Moving on west in the morning, the northwestern wind had dropped to 8 knots and the temperature gone up all the way to 16. I'm planning to visit Stockholm today. Yes, you heard me. Let's enjoy the scenery on the way. surprised to see a yellow ferry replacing the blue MS Antonia. Yellow fin ferries are normally free, but this one isn't. If you're cycling, it's 10 euros plus another 10 euros for the bike. And lorries and buses, 200 euros. How time flies when you're having fun. Ladies and gentlemen, we are already approaching Stockholm. We are now in the area of the crater I talked about in episode 23. And the Magnificent Seven, whose real name is Hästskon, the Swedish for horseshoe. I was actually planning to anchor here for a while and visit those islands, but seeing the number of birds there, I changed my mind. Maybe later. Anchored between Talklobben and Linda. A nice spot for anchoring, a wide flat bottom at 5 to 6 meters. Yes, there is some minor traffic through the strait about once or twice a day. Since I'm mostly boating alone, I prefer anchoring to mooring to the shore. Let's go ashore with the dinghy. Speaking of which, last September I noticed there was always some water inside it, even if it hadn't rained for a week or so. Later at home, I found 6 holes in the bottom. Luckily the air chambers were intact. After some detective work, I found the prime suspect in the mirror. That guy had carelessly dragged my dinghies ashore over sharp rocks and stuff for years. The holes were easy enough to find with water, but as idle winter was approaching, I thought I'd add wheels to the dinghy. After browsing through a number of commercial wheels with some smart mechanisms in the price range of 70 to 500 euros, I ended up with starting from scratch. These are cheap lawnmower wheels, doubled to make them sink less in the mud. They are plastic and light, and I'm not convinced about their grip in tight corners. For the compulsory bells and whistles, I added gas springs to keep them in the upper position. Not stainless steel, I guess. What about a shore that is too steep for pulling the boat up? So another way to protect the dinghy is to drop a stern anchor with a block and tie the dinghy as part of a loop so you can pull it away from the shore towards the anchor. Need some practice, yes. And if all this fails, then just go get an identical unused dinghy from your basement. It was the last item of this kind for half the price. and now a small dose of nature. One reason I came here is I wanted to see Amazonite, a green mineral that has been found in this area years ago. It has been used for jewelry for at least 3,000 years. That is the island where the Amazonite was found. What I most like about electric motors is the silence. I've been thinking about moving to lithium batteries for some time now. Why not try a small one with the trolling motor first? So far, I've used a 75 amp hour lead acid battery to feed this Minn Kota 45 motor from 2015. As things keep getting heavier every year, I wouldn't mind a lighter battery. For the test I chose a 100 amp hour Lifebow 4 battery from LiTime. It fits in the old 75 amp hour battery case perfectly. Here they are, like two peas in a pod. Well, not exactly. This is the old setup, nothing special inside, aside from two fuses and a simple state of charge indicator, which do not like bad weather and become unreliable. This is the new one with, again, some bells and whistles inside, including a Bluetooth shunt and an anti-theft feature. If you want to see a test of this battery, as well as a bunch of others, by Will Prowse, there's a link in the description. That is a 60 amp fuse, which should not be necessary, but there it is. This LiTime model does not have Bluetooth, so I added a 300 amp Victron Bluetooth shunt to spy what is going on inside. The app tells you that with this setting, you can stare at the propeller spinning in your backyard for at least 10 days. This is half throttle. It draws 26 watts in air and 150 watts in water. And this is full speed. It draws 56 watts in air and 450 watts or 37 amps in water. So, in theory, you could ride this dinghy at full throttle for 2 hours and 40 minutes at about 6 to 7 kilometers per hour. I find that a bit hard to believe. What is nice about these is that they gobble up a lot of current, up to 100 amps. This is the night setting at 15 amps. And the 30 amp setting, which now only goes up to 19 because the battery is almost full. And this is what the shunt thinks there's going on inside. What about the anti-theft feature? Well, here we have a 100 amp relay operated by a magnetic switch, so no voltage in the plus and minus poles outside the box unless a special magnet is placed right here. Okay, seriously, it's in fact just a kill switch, and I keep the string around my wrist. So let's sum up the pros and cons in trolling motor use based on pretty limited tests. My 230 centimeter dinghy runs noticeably faster now. Two reasons come to mind. The boat is now lighter, and the battery voltage doesn't drop very much. The boat's displacement is now about 50 kilos, including an anchor, a pump, a bailer, 2 ropes, and a selection of spiders. Returning home, didn't find any Amazonite yet, but it's beginning to look like summer here, so looks like we've found that at least. Or what do you think? He's ecstatic. Soon after, the summer overheated badly, and I had to do something about it. But more of that next time.